The crazier we
You
get,
got that
the
right.
better it gets. Oh, I'm your Holy Spirit.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. But you mind looking around the room and checking everybody out?
Yeah.
If somebody been wanting to look at, this is your chance to do it legitimately.
Oh man, I'm gonna let you.
Somebody been wanting to check out, now you can do it in the purpose of spirituality.
Oh, sure, look out, baby.
That's right. And I got a song. This is a course of love, so I got a song about love that I want us to use to get centered on and just to breathe. Okay, just relax. Let go of the day. Let go of the day. You did good. You did good. You did good today. You're here. You did good. Just imagine yourself in the hills of Tennessee, on the side of a river, fishing, and a bunch of people come by with banjos.
I know who that is.
The love not of this world. Sing it, Donna Carey. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Everything you thought you needed for guiltless, sinless child of God. Love is all you are. There's a love not of this world.
There's a love not of this world.
The only real love.
Not that old phony kind.
You'll not find it where you search. It's only in the wake up to what you are. Wake up. Search only for what is false. Let it go. Give up the cost of holding on to what you think you know. Listen to the voice of love, calling you, telling you, wake up to the only true reality of you. You are not of this world. The only real love. You'll not find it wherever you search. It's only in the
Wake up.
to what you really are. Wake up.
Wake up.
This world offers you nothing that you need. You are the extension of all that is and never will be. When will you believe? When will you come home to me? Wake up.
soft and gentle tonight. It's so soft and gentle, what you just played.
I need some soft and gentle sometimes.
You too? You too?
Oh, yeah.
I surely do. I wouldn't be down here otherwise.
I certainly hope it won't come to you without a purpose.
I need soft and gentle. Oh dear.
We're going to be on page 189 in the Course of Love.
189. Yeah, we don't get off that page very much. That group's been on here for like 2 months.
Bouncers, there's somebody here that you need to get hold to. Bouncers, there's a rowdy person in the audience.
Rowdy old lady.
There's a rowdy lady in the audience that I love dearly. Absolutely.
Get that bouncer working, honey. I work with him.
I'm with you.
She's been waiting for a bouncer boy.
Been waiting for a bouncer boy. That's kind of cool.
So we're going to do paragraph 20-46 on page 189. And it says, before you begin to resist the notion that you could have anything to do with world peace, before you begin to resist the notion that you could have anything to do with world peace, realize that you naturally have reacted with resistance.
Oh dear.
You must replace your willingness to believe in your inadequacy and smallness with your willingness to believe in your ability and your mightiness. Remember not your ego concerns, and remember instead the warmth of the embrace. Remember not your personal identity, but remember instead your shared identity. Sounds to me like those were instructions.
It does.
So I'm willing to replace my belief in my inadequacy and my smallness with my belief in my ability and my mightiness. I'm willing to replace my belief in my inadequacy and smallness with a willingness to believe in my ability and my mightiness. I'm willing to believe in my abilities. I'm willing to believe in my mightiness. I'm willing to believe in my abilities, and I'm willing to believe in my mightiness. I'm willing to believe in my abilities. I'm willing to believe in my mightiness. I'm willing to believe in my abilities, and I'm willing to believe in my... See, those were instructions. I used to look at this stuff and say, oh, that was something for me to read. You know, it's just something for me to read. Actually, it's something for us to actually do right here and now, so we can actually get the result that we're looking for. So I like to take just about a minute, and you don't have to necessarily stay with me, but I like for those who feel like cooperating in this way to just say, I believe in my ability and mightiness. I believe in my ability and my mightiness. I believe in my ability and mightiness.
I believe in my ability and
I believe in my ability and I believe in my mightiness.
Wow.
I believe in my mightiness.
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 And I believe in my ability. I believe in my ability.
I believe in my ability.
I believe I'm cute.
I believe I'm cute.
I believe I'm juicy.
Juicy.
And I believe in my ability.
I believe in
And
my
I believe in
ability.
my mightiness.
I believe in my
I
mightiness.
believe in my abundance.
I believe in my abundance.
I believe in my power.
I believe in my power.
Now, one of the rules of saying this is that you don't have to believe it. Okay, that's very important, that you don't have to believe this. Don't think believing it is part of the thing. It's not the belief I'm interested in tonight. All we're interested in is to show our symbolic willingness. And to show our symbolic willingness is just to say it. That's a sign that I'm willing to believe in my ability at some point, and I'm willing to believe in my mightiness at some point. It doesn't mean I already believe in it.
Right.
So I used to resist saying stuff in books like this because it sounded like I was saying something that I didn't believe, so it was just a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit and turn it towards somebody else. Whatever. How hot are you all? You hot? And you cold?
You can turn
You
it up.
cold?
Turn it up,
Yeah, I'm
Bonnie.
You cold? You comfortable? All right. All right.
You don't really
I'll just heat you up. All right. So if you want to go to another level of consciousness really quickly, let go of the idea that you have to believe a new idea. And to focus on that you need to just say the new ideas as a sign of your willingness to be healed by the universe, by God.
That's so easy.
I know it. That's why it's hard to do. Because it's so easy. It's why we won't do it. Because there's not a person sitting in this room that can't say something that they don't believe.
Right now.
Because we do it.
We do it all day long in some form or another. But when the court said, well, I want you to say this and don't believe it, then I go, I can't say that and don't believe it. So I'm going to say it again, that I believe in my ability and mightiness, and then it says, remember not your ego concerns. So I want you to remember how you are embraced, how you are warmly embraced. I want you to remember that you are warmly embraced. You are warmly embraced. He says, remember, stop thinking about your bills. He says, think about being warmly embraced. And he says, forget about your little personal identity for just a minute. He says, he tells us, forget about your own little personal identity. He says, but I want you to think that you have a shared identity. So here's my personal identity, and this is my shared identity. This is my shared identity. Imagine how much fun and how much our hearts would open up to each other if we really thought we were each other. The energy of this whole room would shift just like this if we would just for 1 second let go of our own personal identity and our focus on our own ego concerns. And just for a second, just realize that I'm sitting here with myself. I'm sitting here with myself in a lot of different forms and bodies. And then he says, your personal concerns are concerns you have been taught to believe you have. So a personal concern is a concern you've been taught to believe you have. So if I tell you that I'm concerned about money, then what I'm saying is that I have a concern about money I've been taught to believe I have.
Yeah.
I have a concern about money that I've been taught to believe I have. I have a concern about paying my bill that I have been taught to believe I have. I have a concern about my relationship that I have been taught to believe I have. So all of your concerns are concerns that he says you have been taught to believe you have. So what y'all think about that? Does that make sense to anybody? Everybody cool with that? Any questions about that?
No.
So a concern is a concern you've been taught to believe you have.
That's very true.
Thank you. Well, that settles it. Kimberly
That
has
settles what
spoken.
Kim said. That settles it.
That settles it. Let's go on to something else.
That's right.
It has been done. That's what I love about the
Let
Ten
it be
Commandments.
so.
He was saying, how do you put it? So shall I say it, let it be done, or something. I thought Yul Brynner was so cool. I mean, he played the heck out of that role. Let it be done.
Let it be written. Let it be
And
done.
so-
Yeah, let it be written, let it be done. I love that. Let it be written, let it be written,
And it's gonna be done.
let it be done. Let this be written, thank you. Let this be written, let this be done.
It's cool.
So for an hour, we get a chance to burst out with all the strange thinking that we wish we could say to people all day long, but we're scared. This is the hour you can let your strangeness come on out in all its glory. Okay? Then he says, your personal concerns are concerns you have been taught to believe you have. They are small concerns, and they are among the reasons for your belief in your inability to effect change within your own life. So your small concerns are among the reason why you believe that you don't have the ability to change your life. Your concerns keep you from recognizing you have the ability to change your life. Your concerns keep you from recognizing that you have the ability to change your life. Your little concerns that you've been taught to believe you have keeps you from recognizing that you can change your life. It's like, why do I not say I can change this situation? My concerns, all my little concerns keep me from believing I can change this situation that I'm in. All my little concerns.
And that's why I'm really upset.
That's why I'm really upset.
Yeah.
That's why I'm really upset. I'm so glad I got to the point after all these years of finally when I'm acting crazy. I was talking to my Savior today, and we were talking about how we got to get to the point that we recognize that our ego is not us, and when we act crazy and go off, that's not us, and that we're going to come back to loving each other as soon as we want to be sane again. Even with the person that I've had the greatest ego confrontation with, I will welcome that person back into my experience when I feel like they truly want peace with me. I'm not gonna it's like, to me, it's a little blip in the matrix. You went crazy for a while. I go crazy too. And so now I want to be sane again. Please join me in my desire to be sanity instead of continuing to hold against me the thing that I did when I was acting like you've acted before. Crazy. It's so funny. It is so funny that we have the arrogance to act like we can be upset with people for doing stuff we do all the time at different times than them.
Right.
It's like there's not a person in this room that hasn't acted a goddamn fool.
Yeah, right.
I bet there's not nobody in this room that hasn't acted a fool, an absolute total fool at some time in their life. But then we'll be tempted to look at somebody else and go, I'm gonna hold a grievance against them for acting a fool like I. And in doing that, you make your own error a sin.
That's why you punish.
You at that point, you make your own error irreversible. Why should I hold against you states of consciousness that I've had all the time, but I've done it before and I'm trying to learn now how not to do this? So my point is that when we act crazy, which we're going to do from time to time, we need to be willing to recognize that we all go into temporary insanity out of fear and separation, and we all come back to that point that we go, you know what? I need to see that differently. That was an error on my part. I was gone. Now only do this if you want it done to you. Only be that loving and forgiving if you want it to be done when you act the fool, because you are going to do it. You are not going to go from here to enlightenment without making some kind of error in consciousness. I bet you anything, you have not seen your last day of anger. And you have not seen your last day of upset. You know you haven't. You know you haven't. So you best start creating relationships with people who love you when you act crazy and be ready to accept you again when you come back to sanity, rather than join with relationships with people who not only will not forgive you, they remind you constantly of the error that you made and they never let you forget it. That is not a fun person.
No, that's not a fun person.
Okay, so you must understand, he says, certainly within the greater life of the universe, your small concerns keep you from believing you can affect your life in this universe. And he says you must understand that when you think of your personal life, when you think of your personal concerns, when you think of your personal relationships, you're actually separating yourself from the whole. You're separating yourself from love. You're separating yourself from oneness. When you are constantly thinking about your personal life, and you're constantly thinking about all your personal concerns, and you're thinking about all your personal relationships, he says you are separating yourself. You are separating yourself from the whole. The whole is the love, the joy, the oneness. So what is the purpose of worrying? To keep you separate from everybody else. What's the purpose of your personal concerns? To keep you from joining with everybody else. What's the purpose of your personal relationships that you're concerned about? To keep you... Right, thank you. Anybody else had thoughts of attack today of any kind? Please raise your hands. Okay, thank you.
A couple of times.
Thank you. A couple of times.
Murderous.
Okay, here we go. Da, 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 da. All right, I want to stop right now, since I've been stopped, to ask you all to comment and ask any questions. So let's talk to each other for a little bit. What have you heard that really, for you, was an aha?
The warmth of the embrace. I love that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
That's what we're looking for in our love relationships.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and even in the relationship here, that's what I get when I come here. With every, like you were saying, it's not like you're one, it's like it's the whole.
Whole. We're whole. Cool.
Your personal concerns are concerns you have been taught to believe you have.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That's
Isn't it?
powerful.
Because
Wow.
the things I'm always worried about, somebody else told me I should be worried about it. Instead of being pure and not worried about it. Not obsessing on it, at least.
And then it's telling us the reason why I want to be focused on my personal concern is so I can separate myself.
Oh,
My
sure.
problems are different.
Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
Well, yeah, just what was hit, that the purpose of worry and concern is a means of separation, because for me, I never thought of it like that, you know, that just, for me, it's just part of life, you know?
Just to be so much to be concerned.
Yeah, you know, when you get worried, when you get concerned, I always just thought that was a part of life, you know? That,
Yeah.
and I never thought it was like a means of separation, you know?
Yeah. Because think about it, you are. You're just so focused in on yourself. You feel completely separate from everybody else.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm attaching personal concern with fear.
Yeah, me too. Me too. They're
So
one.
they're
They're one and the
thought to be-
same.
thought to be- They are, aren't they?
Yeah. And then if I don't fear enough, I'm not going to take care of myself. Because that my fear is the motivation for my survival instincts to take place. So it's just like I wouldn't take care of myself unless somebody was scaring me into doing it.
Right.
That's our like Cole said. Our premise is that we got to always protect ourselves against the unknown. Think about that for a second. How do you protect yourself against the unknown?
Stay behind your yellow
Recognize
line.
it.
Stay behind the yellow tape. Stay behind that yellow tape. That's how you do it. Sometimes you can look so devastated, won't nobody even want to mess with you. They won't even want to come beyond your yellow line. You know. Some of y'all seen people like that. It's like, I'm going to stay on the other side of the tape. I'm not. Unless it's a really pretty building.
Whoa.
That's right. How many of y'all fell in love with a pretty building? Yeah, I know that's right. I'm telling you, you want to ride that elevator up and down. Didn't you? Sometimes you can't ride that elevator much as you used to, but your spirit's in it. Your spirit is in it. They work on the elevator in my building all the time. They do.
How lucky you are.
Hey, we're happy ahead of time. We got
I know.
we got problems we got to work through. Sorry about that.
Woo!
Yeah.
Now, Earl, now, see,
Yeah.
where the ego gets me is that when I get worried and concerned about another person, because see, I've been trained to believe that that's being noble. That's being
And the course,
caring.
and one of the things the Course in Miracles said the first time I read it, it blew my mind. It said, "Continued concern is attack." And I went, "What?" Because I was the most concerned person going. He says, "Yes, because it's showing your lack of faith in that person's power and connection to God, and their ability to be taken care of by God. It's you actually witnessing to their weakness, but you call it concern. You know, like if I'm concerned about my child all the time, I'm sending fear thoughts to my child all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and I think as a good parent, that should send as many fear. Why? Because if I can scare them into doing right, and if I can scare them into doing what's best for them, I'm a good parent. So most parents are terrorists.
That's true. Now that's true.
And the better the terrorist, the better the parent. It's the way the world will look at it.
And those are the personal concerns we've been taught.
And those are the personal concerns we've been
How
taught.
to be afraid of everything.
How to be afraid of everything, God, each other, and ourselves. And then it says, anybody else before I go on with this? This is powerful stuff, man. Yeah, Debbie.
The thing that I was struck by when you read your personal concerns are concerns you've been taught to believe you have is that I really believe, like I had some moments today where I realized, wow, I'm like insane. Like I'm just lost. What I believe and what my mind is doing, I can recognize that it's insane, but I believe it.
Yeah.
It was striking that the best that I could do was recognize that I didn't know what the hell was going on.
That's the best you
That
could do.
was the best I could do.
That's the highest level of consciousness you can be on. Of course, so that's the highest level of consciousness you can be on.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you get to that level that you see your insanity, and at the same time going, you know, that might not be me. It might be another way to look at this, but I'm looking at it. You know.
That's cool.
You know, if I'm around a person that can't admit they have an ego, then I'm around a person that really doesn't know very much about themselves or what's going to happen to them. So they have to meet their ego and everybody around them, and I don't care to be hanging around when it happens. You know, if I'm walking around and I won't admit that I have some hate and some fear and some depression thoughts in my mind, then I'm going to meet people who are depressed and angry and attack me to show me that the thoughts are there. So if I just go ahead and admit there's a part of me that gets depressed, then the depressing people will begin to move out of your life. They're only there to get you to forgive it in yourself. because you're in denial that you even have any. So so remember, the people that you attract to you in relationships are always the people who match your patterns perfectly.
Bless your heart.
So it's so funny. So you hanging out with, living with, communicating with, going to movies with, dancing with your patterns. And you call them your friends and your relatives and everybody you have personal relationships with. Each one of them represents one of your own unconscious patterns.
God, that's so cool.
Your unconscious. What does unconscious mean?
Unknown.
It's right. You don't know it. So I'm not expecting you to say, that's true. No, then it wouldn't, then it wouldn't be an unconscious pattern. So I know I'm telling you stuff that the part of you would be tempted to say, well, I don't have those kind of feelings. That's what I mean by unconscious.
That's good to clarify.
Yeah, that's what unconscious means. I don't believe this. I don't agree with this. I don't see this as true. You're the unlimited child of God that creates your reality completely through your perception. There's nothing you can't do. You never die. You're invulnerable. I don't believe that. That doesn't mean it's not true. Yeah.
So we would have to be one of their patterns as well. Then, too,
Ah,
right?
that's right. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a good pattern.
Yes.
You are.
I'm the best pattern a person
You're a
can
good
have.
pattern, yeah.
I'm a good pattern. I'm
You're a
pattern
good one.
Purdy. That's right. I'm a
Right.
Purdy pattern.
You're a pretty pattern.
I'm a Purdy
You're
pattern.
a pretty
So
pattern.
you know how you're faithful in your pattern, and you
Yeah.
know it because you have the same thing happen with everybody.
Yes.
That's how you know you're consistent with your own pattern, is because whoever you're with, you tend to create the exact same thing in another form.
So rejection, you're just not with your pattern?
Rejection just means you're gonna say that pattern till later.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's just a pattern you're not ready to deal with right now. It's called rejection. That pattern walks up and says, "You ready to deal with me?" And then you go, "No," and then you call it being rejected by them.
Or what if you reject them? Same thing.
Same
Not
thing,
ready.
same thing. They're not ready to deal with you yet. You think it's the other way around.
Yes.
Everybody not ready for you.
That's true.
Everybody, I'm telling you now, everybody's not ready for you. Everybody's not ready. Everybody's not ready for you.
Yeah, we've been knowing that.
Everybody's not ready, but let me tell you something. Somebody's ready for you.
Yes. All right.
Somebody is ready for you. Somebody's going, give me that pattern. Give me that pattern. Give me that pattern. Give me that pattern. Please, God. They're on their knees tonight. Give me that pattern. Give me that pattern. I want that pattern. I want that Purdy pattern. Okay. Let's go on.
Do we need to?
Yeah, desperately.
Desperate.
Yeah.
Our last word was chaos. We have to move.
Okay.
Okay.
So, he says, it's as if you have cut off a little section of life and said, these are the things that relate to my existence and to me, and they are all I need concern myself with. Even when you think of expanding your view, you deem that expansion unrealistic. Now the truth reads in circles. Let me show you. Even when you think of expanding your view, you deem that separation. You deem that expansion unrealistic. Even when you think of expanding your view, you deem that expansion unrealistic. Even when you think of expanding your view, you deem that expansion unrealistic. Like, in other words, we're trying to expand the way we see things, but then a lot of us will say, this stuff is unrealistic. So even as we are trying to expand our view, we're saying, I'm trying to do this Course of Miracles stuff and this Course of Love stuff, but it's unrealistic. There's nowhere in the world you're going to love everybody and know your equality with everybody and always have peace. I'm going to go for it, but it's unrealistic. Right?
Right.
You cannot do everything. Say, I cannot do everything. And see how good that feels to you. I cannot do everything. I can't do everything. I can't do. I can't do everything.
I can't do everything.
I can't do everything.
You can't do anything.
I cannot do everything. Now, if you want to really make that a powerful thought, look around people around you and say it to them. I cannot do everything.
I cannot do everything.
I cannot do everything. I cannot do everything. I cannot do everything. I cannot do everything. Now, whenever you do this, we join. Whenever you reach out and you communicate to anybody else, that's an instant healing and an instant joining. That's getting outside of your personal self, that's getting outside of your personal interests, and that's getting outside of your personal concerns to your shared identity. So how can I really show I have some willingness to connect with my shared identity? I will communicate with it. So when you do little stuff like that, it's much more powerful than it appears on the surface. It means for just a second, you're outside of your own personal concerns. That's when the healing happens. You see, I can only take a break from my personal concerns about 30 seconds. Then I got to get back to them quick. So I get irritated when they tell me to say anything to anybody. You're going to take me away from my personal concern. What's wrong with you, man? If you tell me to say something to the person next to me, I'm going to have to take my mind off me for a while. You know that's unacceptable.
No.
So you can't do everything. You cannot affect world peace. Say, I cannot affect world peace.
I cannot affect world peace.
I cannot effect world peace.
I cannot affect world peace.
I can barely keep my personal concerns in order. I can barely keep my personal concerns. I cannot affect world peace because I can barely keep my personal concerns in order, let alone the peace of the world. So I want y'all to retire from trying to bring peace to the world. Okay? I was sent officially by the God of peace to tell you all personally that it would really appreciate if y'all would give up trying to bring peace to the world. Please stop. Please, I'm begging you to stop trying to bring peace to the world.
Funny thing, Earl.
What's that? It's really funny.
What you say?
It says it right here that your effort to bring peace to the world. He said your effort to do so. He said you can barely keep your personal concerns in order. Your effort to do so is all that stands between you and chaos. Your effort to do so is all that stands between you and chaos. See, we think being constantly focused on our personal concern is the only thing that's keeping us from having chaos. So it says your heart has a different scope. Your heart has a different view. It is the view from within the embrace, which is the view from the angle of love. I like that. He says, it is the view of the dying who realize nothing matters but love. That's a deep sentence.
That's heavy shit right there.
Say, it is the view of the dying who realize it's just like a person on their deathbed, they got about 5 minutes to live. They generally are not regretting that they didn't work more overtime. They're probably wishing they had experienced more love and gave more love. That's what he says. The view of the dying is that nothing matters but love.
Wow.
The view of the dying is that, oh my God, I was concerned about this every day and that every day and all this little stuff every day. And really, the only thing that would have mattered is if I would have loved everybody that was in my life that I was close to, and that simply means let them know that they're appreciated. Let them know that they are appreciated. Let them know that they are appreciated. Let them know that they are appreciated. When we say love somebody, we're not talking about all this stuff that we make up, which makes it tiresome. I didn't want to love nobody until I started to learn what real love was, because it seemed like loving somebody was too much work, and it required me to do too many things that I did not feel like doing for everybody that I met if I really loved them. So the world's definition of love to me was a burden. So I really wasn't into loving maybe one person, maybe. That'd be a big enough job. But I certainly wasn't ready to love everybody. As much work as one person was, why in the world would I want to love everybody? So I knew the definition of love must be wrong if it looks like it's so much effort involved. You know the definition of love is wrong that we have because we think there's too much effort involved. How can we tell we got the wrong definition of love? We think it's such hard work that it requires so much sacrifice. It requires so much doing. That means we have the wrong interpretation of what love is, y'all.
We do.
If you go, I love you, and all of a sudden you're feeling depressed because of all the things you think that's going to require you to do, that is not love. That is not love. Love is effortless. If I'm trying to love you, I don't love you.
I see that.
It doesn't mean I'm guilty, it just means I'm not allowing to love you. Now, you want to love people really quick, the easiest way to do it is say, God is the love. Let the love, it's like, God is up to you. You love him. Creator, you do the loving. I'm not going to even, I don't know how. I don't know how. But I want the love to happen for everybody in this room. But I don't know how. But I want the love to happen for everybody in this room. So I'm willing to get out of the way so love can love y'all. But I am not the one that's going to try to love you. I am retired. It's not my job, it's God's job to love
It's
you.
not your job.
It's not my job. My job is to remember that you deserve it.
Yeah.
My job is to remember that you deserve love.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to give you the love unless it's coming through me and not from me. Love comes through us. We don't source it. That's why making love isn't love. Because you can't make love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Earl, I'm kind of confused about that though, because okay, so we are the love of God, right?
Who you really are is the love of God.
But
Who you really are is the love of God.
because I guess I'm still confused from like the old stuff where I was taught that love is out there, and
Yes.
and I need to get right with God, and then He gives me the love. But if I'm the love of God, but you said that we don't source it, right?
No.
It comes through us.
It comes through us. Even that you think you are was extended.
Okay.
You are an extension
Oh.
of the love of God.
But it isn't out there, right?
No,
Still
the only
love.
thing that's out there is what you think.
Okay.
Oh, that's
The only thing that's out there is
Okay.
what you think.
what you think.
That's why you never have to be confused about what you really believe, because what you really believe
That's what you think.
is what you see.
Yeah.
It is what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And you join with other people with similar feelings and thoughts. And then you convince yourself it must be real
Yeah.
because so many people are agreeing
Yeah.
with you that it's that way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe all women hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll meet all the other people who believe women hurt. And then we'll be convinced that women hurt instead of us hurting ourselves through the thoughts that we're having about women.
Mm-hmm.
We actually convince ourselves. See, when you're really, really mad and angry at somebody and you call a friend that's going to agree with you and tell you how much you're the victim and bash the person you're talking about, you're really not helping each other at all. You're just creating more of those situations because two powerful God beings are uniting on an idea. And whenever you unite on an idea, you create it. So next time you get ready to go off on somebody and you go talk to the person who's going to say, you right, you the victim, they did you wrong, y'all just creating more perceptions like that. And when those perceptions come up, all you have to do is go, I made it, I bless it. I made it, I bless it. I made this thought, I bless this thought. I made this thought, I bless this thought. I made this thought, I bless this thought. I made this thought, even if it's a thought of anger. I made it, I bless it.
Mm-hmm.
That's too simple, isn't it?
Yeah, that's hard.
Okay.
Earl, were you saying that if love is flowing through you,
Mm-hmm.
are you in the embrace at that time?
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
moment?
in you and surrounding you
And around you, so you're in that embrace.
all the time.
If it's flowing, and then when you're flowing through it, is that the type of love that you're saying that we only can actually feel?
The only love it's a love that's beyond anything that could be changed or that you could lose, and it only expands. And we don't know how it's permanent. Our love is the love that we do is very conditional.
Right. Okay. That's
Yeah, and love that is true isn't.
which is a pure love.
Which is a pure
It's
love.
truly going through us and being shared.
Right. True, whether you realize it or not. It's not like the sun has to stay conscious that it's shining.
But the same love can be shared
Ha.
regardless of whether it is reciprocated or
Right,
reflected
because
back at you.
exactly because and it will. It's just going to come back to you through who and where and how it can come back to you. That's always cool to remember that it's going to come back to you, and sometimes it may not seem like it's coming back to you from the person that it looks like the love came to you to. What the truth says is that whenever you give something, it comes back to you in the form you need it in the most.
Oh.
And I love that idea.
Is that cool?
Maybe I shared a meal with you, And it came back to me as the person that stopped on the side of the road when I was stranded and helped me get my car started. So you don't look for it necessarily to come back through the person that you allowing it to go through. Plus, it just feels incredible to allow it to come through you. That's actually the reward,
Right.
is when you letting it come through you. When you're going, you know what? I go through more of a strain. Show you how the course changes you over years. I go through more of a strain now trying to hold a grievance than it would take for me to let it go. When it used to be just the opposite. Forgiveness was the hardest thing I could imagine, but having the grievance was the easiest thing. Now it's just the opposite. I don't even like to deal with the strain of trying to remember what to stay mad at you about. I don't feel like trying to remember the things, to remember to walk past you when I see you coming in. How can I, to me, that's a strain now. I'd much rather just let it go. Yeah, I don't want to remember. And I know that may sound strange if you got a lot of grievances against people right now, but if you continue to change your perception like these teachings teach, you'll surely get to the point one day that you'll love yourself so much that you just won't put yourself through this stuff. It just won't even occur to you to continue to put yourself through it any longer.
That's cool.
And you certainly never believe you have to always be alone. Or that there would never be someone who could love you the way you are or be your companion. All that kind of stuff leaves as you begin to correct your perception. You really get you'll never be alone. It's the most beautiful thing.
It is.
Someone finish this paragraph so we can go back out in the outside that doesn't exist. Okay. All right. He says the view. Oh yes, so we got turned on right here. It is the view of the dying who realize nothing matters but
Love.
This realization is one of sentiment,
Not
regrets,
one of
or wishful thinking. This realization is not a realization of sentiment, regrets, or wishful thinking. That's the way you see things. It's the view from the embrace, the return to one heartbeat, the return to what is known.
That's beautiful.
This knowing you might call wisdom, and think of as an attainable ideal of thought.
Yeah.
It's a great definition of wisdom. It's an attainable ideal of thought.
Yeah.
He says, yet it is not about thought at
Oh
all.
my goodness, Father.
It's really beyond thought. There's a knowing beyond thinking. There's a knowing beyond. There's a knowing that you know, even though you don't know why you know. Even though you can't think of why you know. Right?
Right.
Haven't you ever experienced that?
Right.
You just knew and you didn't know why you knew, and it was beyond your thinking that you knew, but you knew. There is a knowing that is beyond thought. It's not thought at all. It is not wisdom, it's the truth. The truth is that which exists.
Wow.
The false is illusion. So when somebody says something is an illusion, they're just saying something is false. It's an illusion that you're separate from God. It is false that you are separate from God. It's false that you're separate from God. It's an illusion.
It's not true.
What is an illusion? Very simple definition. Very simple. If it's real, it's permanent. And if it's an illusion, it's temporary. So based on that definition, where are we sitting? In the temporary. So that's what it means when it says something is an illusion. But think about this for a second. It says, an infinitely powerful creator creates eternally, and there is no end, because it's all an extension of the creator. Is everybody clear about that? So that means that there would have to be no point that love or what is real ended. So by definition, anything that changes has to be false. That's the good news, because that means there's nothing that you could possibly go through here that could not change for the better. Because the one thing that's guaranteed to happen here is change. So the Course says, be glad that everything that's not like God's love will change. Don't feel bad about that. Be glad you're in a world where everything changes, which means no matter what you're doing to yourself, it could get better. You could have an improvement. It could change for the better. Now it says the reason why we're afraid of change is very simple. Like, why are we so afraid of change? He says the reason why we're afraid of change is the first change we ever experienced was the change from the state of love to fear, from God to being here. So of course we're scared of change. Look where our first change got us. Trying to pay bills. Trying to make sure somebody loves us. Trying to avoid every kind of disease known to man. He says like this was our first change when we wanted to be unlike God, just to check it out and see what it's like to be opposite of everything cool. That's deep.
That is.
That's deep.
Yeah.
So he says so the whole idea of change doesn't turn us on.
Too scary.
Because our change was from a state of ecstasy and bliss to hoping nobody mugs you on Colfax. Hoping that you can get one or two little relationships that you can call your own that's going to make you feel valuable and important. That's crappy.
Yeah.
That's screwed up.
That is creepy.
I'm by myself on my own, scared. I'm a victim of everything, especially swine flu. And then I'm hoping I can get at least one lover, one mate, somebody who will really care about me above everything on earth, including themselves. And in return, they get me. And he said, you wonder why you feel guilty. He said, you think you're getting something wonderful and giving that person nothing in return. After all, they're getting you. He said, that's why we feel guilty in relationships, because we know we're not treating people right.
Right. Oh God, that's so.
And then we project on them that they're doing us wrong. It's a hilarious game we play in our relationships.
Doesn't make much sense.
So how do you handle all that without feeling even more guilty because you know you do that kind of stuff or being so freaking selfish and just thinking about yourself? How do you not feel more guilty? He says, that's why forgiveness is a necessary stage in spiritual awakening, because unless you learn how to look at your own errors with the look of innocence and like, boy, whew, all right, I did that time, but I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to see if I can try to do it differently next time. Unless you can get to that kind of attitude about what you think of as your sins, how can all the stuff that needs to be released come up to be released? Because you won't be willing to let any of it come up without making yourself feel guilty about every little memory that comes up about what you did in the past that wasn't cool.
Wow. Wait a minute.
How are you going to let everything come up that you need to let go of so that you can see it as innocent and being healed if everything that comes up from your past, you're going to spend all day long judging yourself for having ever done that thing?
Yeah.
That's why forgiveness is so important. We have to get to the point that we can look at our own errors in a compassionate, detached way.
Yeah.
And then go, oh yeah, I got really angry. I threw that whole chair out of that window in 1975, and I had to pay $500 to get that window replaced. That's what you do. Okay, that was one of my calls for love. So when something comes up, you say, oh, that was just one of my calls for love. Oh, that was another one of my calls for love. But if you're going to go, oh my God, I'm the scum of the earth. Look what I did to my children. And how can anything come up to be released if you're just going to crucify yourself more about it? Then it stays in your consciousness and you keep on experiencing it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so if you can't pull off looking at your stuff as innocent, at least have a friend who can look at your stuff, look at you as innocent as you share your stuff. You need to, if you can't look at, the fact that you accidentally stepped on the cat and killed it when you were 12 years old, you need to be able to be next to somebody you can say, you know what, I've been carrying a lot of shame about this, but one day I wasn't looking where I was going and I stepped on a little cat and killed it. And I've been having a lot of pain about that. You need to be with a person and go, that's just your call for love, you innocent. That wasn't something you meant to do. Somebody who's not going to go, you killed a cat? Oh my God.
Cute little kid.
You know how I feel about cats. You see what I'm saying? Right now, it's critical that you be discerning about who you allow to be in your intimate circle. What kind of reflection you're willing to have somebody give you back. What they're going to witness back to you, that you're guilty and bad, or they're going to let you remember that, hey, you're an innocent spiritual being that sometimes make errors that could be lovingly corrected. So would you acknowledge yourself, please, for hearing this much with me? Yeah, come on, let's give it to us. Let's scare the ego away. Let's scare the ego away. doggone thing. All right, so we're gonna do the love offering.
Okay.
Thank you.
You read that last sentence for me.
No, Debbie, that line reminds
You want to allow an intelligence greater than yours to function by inviting it, by saying it weighs beyond my wildest imagination. That immediately goes beyond you having to figure it all out by yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are easy answers that work. So let's take a minute to complete, and I'd love to have you on the mailing list, you know, and Sunday at 1 o'clock is the next Course in Miracles class from 1 to 2. Last Tuesday I filmed another Course in Miracles movie, so it'll be interesting for a different group of people. It's going to be pretty interesting. It should be pretty interesting because it's fascinating the way that they worked it with me. It's very different from anything I've ever seen before. But the word's trying to get out every way possible right now. Okay, this is what we're going to end on. He says that love is all that matters because love is all that is. So we want to go, I cannot do everything. 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 Take the pressure off yourself. That's what happens when you say stuff like this. I cannot do everything. I cannot do everything. I cannot do everything. So, whoever feels like saying it with me, I cannot do everything. 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 I believe in my ability. 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 I believe in my mightiness. 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 Now I'd like to try a little quick experiment before we go out. I'd like for those who really feel like it and wouldn't mind just getting out of their comfort zone just a minute to really say this with as much enthusiasm and feeling as you can pretend to have.
Pretend?
You ready? I believe in my ability.
Oh, heck.
I believe in my ability. I believe in my ability.
I believe in my ability.
I believe in my mightiness.
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 I believe in my ability.
I believe in my ability.
I believe in my juiciness.
I believe in my juiciness.
I believe in my mightiness.
I believe in my mightiness.
I believe in my juiciness.
I believe in my juiciness.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Breathe.
All right, Earl.
I love you. I appreciate you. I bless you. Thank you so much for coming. Could we acknowledge us? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hugs are available. I love you. I hope I can see you. If not, just send me some good energy. Especially on my birthday, which is Wednesday. The 15th.
I know. You know what I mean. That's why it was awesome, because when